of you might know me from previous FHS Worlds. I'm Gemma Greenwood. I'm the Director of Content Inc. and I'm going to be your MC for the next 3 sessions, while Ruben, who was your MC for this morning, is getting prepared for the Sustainable Hospitality Challenge. Now, the reason we've got lots of MCs here for this event is that we're trying to really promote young leaders and give them experience with different roles. So I've been mentoring some of the young leaders to MC. So that's why you'll see different people come up and down the stage. Right. Excellent. The rearrangements are nearly done. So the next topic of conversation is the subject of pioneering sustainable hospitality development. We're going to be hearing from Osama AlOthman, who's the Chief Executive Officer at Aseer Investment Company. Now, that's established by Saudi's PIF, Public Investment Fund. It aims to transform the Aseer region into a global tourism and wellness hub. And it's coming along nicely. I've seen some of what they're doing, and it's amazing. So we're going to hear all about that. Now, here to moderate this session is a good friend of mine, who is Jules Hugo. Now, she's the CEO of LOTUS Arabia. It's a globally renowned marketing and communication specialist in the travel, hospitality, and lifestyle space. Now, LOTUS recently expanded in the GCC, so the most recent offices are in Jeddah and Riyadh, where it's all happening. So, Jules, I'd like to hand over to you. If you'd like to come up on stage with Osama, that'd be wonderful. Big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Gemma, for that introduction. As Gemma mentioned, my name's Jules. I'm CEO of LOTUS and LOTUS Arabia. We are a communications and marketing specialist focused very much on the travel, hospitality, tourism, and destination sector. We have offices in London, Singapore, New York, Paris, and as Gemma mentioned, most recently opening in Saudi last year, where we create communications marketing strategies on a global scale for some of the world's most ambitious and exciting brands. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today with you all and to be in conversation with Osama AlOthman. As Gemma said, CEO of Aseer Investment Company. But Osama has had a very prestigious career spanning 30 years with senior held positions across trade and investment. He's here today with us to talk about the incredible work that he's doing, leading the development of the Aseer region, which, as some of you will know, is one of Saudi Arabia's most exciting new destinations. So we only have 15 minutes, so straight into the questions. Osama, you have described Aseer as a crown jewel. For those of us in the room, perhaps, who aren't as familiar with the region, can you explain why it's so unique?
Sure. No, thank you very much, and thank you for the intro, Jules. Aseer is very unique when it comes to if you want to look at the ingredients of a good touristic destination, it has the right ingredients. If you look at the topography of Aseer, it combines between mountains, virgin beachfront, and a desert. If you look from a weather perspective, it has a Mediterranean weather year-round. So year-round, the temperature varies between 10 to 35, 36. Which this is very unique for Saudi. Last but not least, it's very rich in its heritage and culture. And that makes, if you combine all of those together, you have the right recipe for a good touristic destination. This is why we call it crown.
Incredibly rich proposition, isn't it?
Yeah.
You mentioned the Mediterranean climate, which is obviously very attractive for a Saudi destination. Sure. Your work is funded by PIF.
Yes.
And the idea is to create a year-round destination. How are you going about that, spreading that kind of seasonality?
I mean, you're right. We're funded by PIF, right? And however, our DNA is built based on a partnership with the private sector. So what we do is actually we are opening the gate of Aseer in a full partnership with the private sector to invest into Aseer. Aseer today, as I mentioned, it has the right ingredients. to be a touristic destination. We need to create the demand, but in order to create the demand, you need to have the supply in the market. So it's always when it comes to the supply and demand game, is it the chicken or egg game, right? I strongly believe and personally believe that by you creating the supply, the demand will come, okay? So you create the demand.
I think especially at the moment, there's so much excitement and anticipation around Saudi destinations.
Yes, of course.
But having that product in place is critical, isn't it?
Exactly, it's very critical. And the philosophy, I mean, again, Aseer Investment Companies is an investment house. So we do look at the financial viability of our investments, in addition to other considerations. So the point of entry into Aseer is affordable hospitality, okay? Because frankly, Aseer gives you the wow effect naturally by its nature.
So you're letting the nature, the scenery talk for itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't want to ruin that.
And obviously the title of our session is all about pioneering sustainable hospitality development. How are you making sure that you are building that hospitality infrastructure with the environment very much at the core of your decision making?
Well, I mean, whenever we identify, so okay, our investment process, of course, has a very systematic process and everything, but I will be brief. So when we pick a land or a location to do our investment, the first thing that we do before we do any visibility study, before we do any deep dive due diligence, is we do what's called the EIA, which is the Environment Impact Assessment. Because of the nature of Aseer, and again, our DNA is built on protecting the environment. So once we know that we will not harm the environment in that location, then we pick the right technology to construct, whether that is a modulars or anything else. But we will make sure that we do not harm the environment. Same thing when it comes to the energy and the utilities. We are considering and taking into consideration the renewables into our projects.
And obviously, you're an investment company, so investment has to be responsible, sustainable, as you talked about, but it also has to deliver the numbers. It has to be commercially viable. You've talked about financial viability. How do you manage those two things, which sometimes can be quite opposing?
Okay, look, if you want to talk about sustainability, there are 3 Ps that you need to consider in your studies, which is people is number 1, planet is number 2, the last but not least is the profitability or the profits of your proposition. Now, planet, as I mentioned earlier, we do EIAs, studies, and we make sure that we're not harming the environment. In terms of people, we do support the local communities. I mean, again, Aseer is very rich with artisans, very rich with craftsmen, that we are integrating them into our projects to offer a unique guest experience. Right? Now, profitability is there. Two elements here plays a major factor. First one, there is a global awareness about environment and sustainability. So today, the international tourists and the global tourists, they do prefer to stay in hotels that they are sustainable. So that will impact you financially positively. The other thing is the cost of, let's put it this way, the clean energy today is going down sharply. That is making financially viable.
I think it's interesting that you've identified consumer demand and choice, because more and more people are expecting sustainable choices within their hotels as a hygiene factor, aren't they? And that's becoming more important to people's decision-making process. I love the 3 Ps, people, planet, profit. I think that's a great takeaway from you. Are there any, you've talked about the topography, the scenery. Are those potential roadblocks to developing? Is it a hard area to develop in? What are the challenges for you?
Well, I mean, I think, look, if we want to look at Aseer from, and compare it to anywhere around the world is, from a challenges perspective, I would say the same challenges you face anywhere. From an investment perspective, you will face in Aseer. There are certain risks that you need to take, calculated risks as an investment. So, however, I would say for a region like Aseer, for us as an investment house, what we're looking for to build the critical mass behind Aseer, right? I mean, we alone can do certain type of investment, and we will have a certain capabilities to do. We would like to see and we invite all the investors from around the world to come and help us in building the ecosystem of the tourism system in Aseer. I mean, Aseer, honestly, today is a very virgin market. We're investing in building hospitalities. We're investing in building some of the ecosystem. But, I mean, the space is still huge, right? Okay, and we would like to see that momentum and critical mass coming to Aseer. So from a challenge perspective, I would say, building that momentum behind Aseer and having that critical mass coming to the market is one of the major challenges that we need to deal with, and we're tackling right now. I mean, talking to different investors, locally and internationally, to be honest, I will be very honest and transparent, the appetite was much higher than what I anticipated originally. And I thought that my mission would be harder, okay? But again, I mean, people have seen the potential of Aseer and what it can offer.
And I think where you have people like Saudi Tourism Authority, Saudi are also getting behind it, don't you? And raising awareness, increasing airlift,
Sure.
Things like that.
Yeah. I mean, again, Aseer investment is one piece of a complete system in Saudi Arabia that consists of the Ministry of Tourism, the STA, PIF, and different stakeholders that we all work collectively, okay, for the same objective with the same North Star, I would say.
I want to pick up on one of the points you made, which is about the importance of the people of Aseer and working with them and them being part of what you're showcasing to the wider world. So the products they make, the craftspeople. It is a region that has a very rich cultural identity. How is it that you are really bringing that out then as part of the tourism product, and how does that benefit those people?
Well, I mean, is again, because we are in Aseer and we are in a very heritage-rich region, in our discussion with different hotel operators, we initiate the discussion based on certain facts that they need to deliver within their proposal. And one of those elements is the integration of the local skills, artisans into the venue and the theme of and the guest experience. Focusing on the guest experience is much more important in our view from an investment perspective is on what you're building, right? And to give a unique service, you need to bring that local. Now, over and above, of course, there are the normal contributions to the local GDP, i.e., from job creations. When you build the ecosystem of the tourism, you open a lot of opportunities for the local SMEs to come live.
I think certainly, again, more and more of us want to, when we go away, when we explore, when we travel, we want to connect with the local community. We want to see their culture, experience their culture, understand it. And that is how you make memories through travel, isn't it? Those are the experiences that you carry with you. So I think it's fantastic that you're taking that so seriously and responsibly. It's really lovely to hear. We're quite short of time. I just want to see if there's any questions potentially from the audience. Is there anyone who has a question for Osama? Okay, great. I will carry on then. Do interrupt me if someone does want to ask something. So you're coming to a very exciting time in terms of the milestones and the rollout of the development. Can you talk us through what the first steps of perhaps Q1 of 2025 will look like?
I mean, okay. I don't want to burn, our future communication. But look, in a few weeks, we will announce a major partnerships with the private sector at 2 levels. And later in November / December, we're going to announce 5 investments that we're doing in Aseer, that they are all, actually 4 are in the hospitality. The last one is more into F&B and banquet hall investments. So we started now going into the hospitality and some of the ecosystem around it. Our aim is to create a destination, right? So we're going to do the keys, the hotel keys, and some of the ecosystem. But hopefully we're gonna have a series of announcements from now until the year end. And in January, February next year, we're gonna be breaking the ground.
Fantastic. Sounds very exciting.
Thank you.
We are up to time, so thank you. We wish you the best of luck with the
very much.
rollout of your development and investment. Thank you, everyone, to Osama AlOthman, CEO of Aseer Investment Company.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
And thank you also to Jules for your moderating. Thanks, guys. Really interesting. We're looking forward to hearing more about Aseer.